Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 5. We are starting unit 2. Those of you who are still working on getting your shitty first drafts and or your revised drafts up in the Google Drive, give you a couple more days till Friday because some people kind of had to come in late. And I appreciate people sending me messages on Slack, letting me know what's going on. Things have kind of interfered with your ability to get things up in the drive on time. I'm willing to put up with a lot of things if people just tell me what's going on and we get a chance to talk about it. So go ahead and do that. So now we're moving into unit 2, which is, this one is going to feel a little weird because it's not an RAB, but there's a little bit of research involved, but you're going to be telling us something about something that you know or that you're learning about. It's called Finding Your Beat, this one. And you're going to be writing a feature article that would be suitable for, say, Vox. And we're going to look at Vox as an example. So let me share the screen. And we'll get over here and get going on this, okay? So this is unit 2, which is right here, Find Your Beat. This beginning part says essentially when a writer, a journalist first starts their career, they generally focus on one area, which they call their beat. It could be Thomas Friedman in the Times, and his beat is basically foreign affairs, specifically the Middle East. My son-in-law does dance reviews, so that's his beat. I was a film critic for a while, so movies and films were my beat. So this is what you're going to find. You're going to be writing about something that would be your beat, something you know something about, something that you have unique experience or knowledge about. So you're going to, again, because this is an informative article, it's not an opinion piece. Okay, it's not an op-ed. You're not trying to convince us of anything. You're just trying to inform us. Now, you can have an opinion. That's absolutely fine. There are pieces, there are feature pieces. That's what these are called, features that have opinions, and they're all over the place. And that's okay. But the main purpose of it is to give us information about someone, something, someplace, something. Okay. So it's going to be doing a 14 to 1600 word feature article. Don't panic. I never have anybody have trouble making that length. In fact, a lot of people have trouble making it that short. So it's going to be fine. Okay? Don't worry about it. So how do you find your beat? Well, there's not one answer. I've got some tips, some advice as you go through here about how to come up with some ideas. So, you may be a skateboarder and your beat might be the skate community. That's what this example is right here. So you can be writing, about stories explaining it for an audience of non-skateboarders. Could be all kinds of things. It's going to be, it should be something that should be fun for you to write and engaging for your readers to read, because it's something you're interested in and are enthusiastic about. So something, something that really catches your attention, that you're crazy about, like some people whose whole careers are about writing for coffee, and just all kinds of stuff, right? So you're going to be doing research for the article, but that's to sort of back up what you already know. So you may know a whole lot about whatever you're going to be writing about, like hip hop, but if you get in and do some more research, it's going to make your article more interesting because it'll give some history. You can bring in what other people say about it. Okay, so there's going to be research involved, but this is not a research report. Okay, it's just research that will help give us more information about your beat, about your topic. So you're going to be graded on who's the audience, and it's going to be an audience. We're going to pretend that it's for Vox, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, if you want to pick another magazine or journal or newspaper to write for, that's fine. Just let me know. Is the purpose clear? Have you done some research? Is it well organized? Is it easy to understand? This is very straightforward. This is not academic. You can use 1,400, 1,600 words, and the due date is March 27th. So we've got plenty of time, and I'm going to walk you through it all step by step because there's lots of pieces involved in this. This is a great piece that you should read about what feature articles are. Features are stories for the most part. They tell a story about somebody, or it could be about your experience, and then you've got some research to tell more about that particular thing. So this article, I mean, this little story was from one of the other instructors, but this student he has what's called middle insomnia, but he didn't think anybody would be interested. Everybody went, "What is that? Yeah, tell us about it." So it was of interest because it was something most people didn't know anything about. So that's kind of one way to approach that. And the main sections of this thing are the introduction, or a hook. It grabs your reader and makes them want to keep reading. It's often a question or a provocative statement or some interesting little bit of information. Then a nutshell paragraph, which is also known as a nut graph, that kind of explains early on what this is going to be about and why they should read it. Then there's the body of the article with lots of paragraphs, some good research involved, some pictures, and then a conclusion that can tie back to the beginning, give suggestions for what to look up or do next, give some advice. There's a lot of ways to conclude this thing, but don't worry, we're going to take this thing, one step at a time for the next few weeks. My students often start out going like, "What is she doing?" and end up being like, "This was so much fun." So that's what Unit 2 is all about. So this is how we're going to do this. Go back over here, okay? So here's the schedule for it. So the first thing to do is up in Perusall, I put a couple of feature articles for you to look at. I'll go over there right now and show them to you, show you what you need to do. Here it is. It's under feature articles to review. There are 2 in here, so you need to scroll down. So what I want you to do is to look at them with an eye, look out for these things and see if you can find them, and think about what the author has done in these articles. Like, how do they start the piece? Was it with an interesting quote? Was it with, what was it? Where they told us the piece was going to be about and why it matters, where research came in, if there's any indication in the article of why this writer why it's their beat, why they have the expertise to write about this. Now, that may require Googling who the author is, but that will give you the information to know that this person actually knows what they're talking about, even though they may have to look up some other stuff to support or to give more information about what they're talking about. What kind of images are used and where, and then how is the conclusion? Did it circle back? Did it give more information, an opinion, suggestions, whatever? Okay. So leave your comments as you go through. I'll show them to you really quickly here. This first one is about a Lindy Hopper, who also does house dance. And so it's a biographical piece, which is one way to approach this. She is really cool. And when I read this, I went out and looked at her YouTube videos, and it's like, oh my God, this woman she can dance. And she's little, and she was in an accident, and they didn't think she could ever walk again. And now she's like the queen of the Lindy Hop. So that's the first one. And then the second part is more information article about the science of ghosts. And that's all I'm going to say. Okay. And this starts with a little story. Okay. So there's more than one way to write one of these articles. So as you go through and read these 2, just look for this, make any comments you want to. And that's it for the perusal, right? So after you've done that to kind of get a feel for what these articles are all about and how they're put together, then we're going to I'm going to ask you to pick an article from Vox to analyze. Now, let me just say what you're going to look for, and then I'll go show you the Vox. Okay, you can choose. Well, I'm going to do it first. I'll go to Vox. Okay, this is a pretty interesting website. It's got all kinds of articles, so you can choose not podcasts, videos, crosswords, politics. I'm going to choose science, although there are other ones under more technology, whatever. Could be an interesting article. Let's see what that is about. So let's look at the article. And then what you're going to do is to analyze the article, kind of what you did with the perusal things. It's pretty much the same. And look at how this is put together. Now, these are links to other articles. Could be, I don't know what this is linked to. Okay. Articles about Russia on Vox. So these are usually linked out to other articles either on this site or secondary or other research that's someplace else. So you don't have to put a bibliography at the end. You could just link out to the article inside your own piece. Makes life a whole lot easier. And you see they've got some that's an ad. Got some YouTubes in here. They've got some pictures, mostly for pretty pictures. Okay, and these are pretty long. So pick an article from one of these things. That's the first thing you do. And then you're going to analyze. Back up. Okay, then you're going to analyze this and create a doc, and you're going to answer these questions, okay? What makes the article uniquely placed to write it? In other words, what are their credentials? Again, you may have to do some Googling to find out who they are. That's fine. That's part of, what analysis is understanding if this person has the ethos, has the credibility to write this. I like this part, say which part, because I learned this. This is how the author used research. This is how the author used personal experience, either the author's experience or other people's experience. Talk about the formatting, how long the paragraphs are, how the images are used, how they led to other research, but the links that I was talking about, okay? So once you do that, put it in the Find Your Beat Vox article analysis folder. Oops. And which is right. Find your beat, put it in here. Nothing's in there yet, obviously. So just put it in there, your Vox analysis, so we can all see what's going on. And just have a place for you to go back and look at it, because you're going to be using it to help yourself write your article. Okay, so then after you've done that, there's a Padlet to go say what your beat is, what you want to write about, add an image. And let's suppose that it's an article for Vox, unless you've got another journal like Skateboarding Magazine or PC Magazine or something that you think would be a better fit for what you're going to write. But everybody shoot for Vox first, and then go for other things. Now, if you're stuck about what your beat might be, there's some questions to ask yourself. And I will guarantee you something will pop out of this little list. All right. I ask this of my screenwriting students a lot of times, so they don't know what they're going to write about. Okay. So this is brainstorming. You don't have to turn this in. What I know a lot about is, I know a lot about is, what I'm passionate about is, when I start Googling, when I have nothing to do, what I start Googling when I have nothing better to do is, I can get lost in the rabbit hole about TV series in no time, right? So if I get to Googling, I will go down that rabbit hole. I would go crazy if somebody had told me I had to stop doing something that talks about your passion. And something that what makes me really angry is, so from whatever answers you come up with in here, I'll bet you're going to find something you want to write about, your beat, you want to tell somebody about, you want to give them information and impart knowledge about it. So once you have kind of figured out what you want to do, now you can change your mind at least once if you want to. But once you've got that kind of figured out, you go over to the Padlet, this Padlet, and I put this information back up here again, and then just post what you want to do. GIF. Remember to sign in so your name's on it. If you forget to sign in, just put your name in the comment. So this is, and I'll be commenting on these. So if I think you're going down a bad path, I'll let you know, or I might have suggestions. Everybody gives suggestions to each other too. That's really helpful to have other folks chime in. I've had a lot of students really kind of redirect what they were doing based on comments from other students. Like there was one student who wanted to write about how we talk about homelessness. And one of the other students, his family had just come out of a shelter. And so she put the other student, the original student, in touch with the shelter director. My first student went in and did some interviews, changed the names, wrote this amazing piece about homelessness and shelters and how people talk about people in shelters. It was great. And he would have never been able to do that if it hadn't been for the young woman who left a suggestion on like a big whiteboard version, post-it version of this. So leave information and help for each other. So that will be your Padlet. Okay. So that's what we're doing up to Sunday. take a little time, okay? Go look at the articles, analyze one from Vox, and then come up with what you want to write about, what your beat's going to be. All right. And if you're stuck, you can use these to help you get some ideas, get an idea. All right. And then on next Wednesday, by next Wednesday, you're going to want to do some research on this again, just to give you more information to write about. And you may find some things that are interesting that you didn't even know that you think would be good to add into the article. So you're going to do what we call a KWL plus activity. Because research is all about asking questions. It's not trying to prove a point so much as it is, well, what do I want to know about? What little piece of information am I missing? Okay, so this KWL plus, if you didn't do this in 1101, this is real. I still use this. As many things as I write, I still use this sucker because it helps me formulate questions and go out and find some good research. So the instructions are in the Google Drive. Go over here. And it's in this one, same unit. So here it is, KWL plus activity. All that's here is just what the activity is. Now, if you got your topic, if you got your beat, right, set your timer for 5 minutes and then just start writing down everything you already know about it. Okay, just don't stop. Don't take your fingers off the keyboards or your hand off your pencil, right? So just say 5 minutes, everything you know, then stop. Shake your hand out, get your fingers all stretched out. Do another 5 minutes, and now start generating every question you can think of using the who, what, when, where, why, and how questions, also known as the journalist questions or the 4 W's and 1 H. Now, who started this? What happened? Where were we? How do I get involved? Or how does somebody get involved? You know, just all the who, what, when, where, why, and how questions that you can come up with. Right, then stop after 5 minutes. Now set your timer for 10 or 15 minutes. Just do some initial research. Do whatever you want to with it, right? And remember what Wikipedia is good for, giving you some basic information, but more importantly for those articles in the bottom and the links that are in the body of the Wikipedia entry, because that will direct you to some good information. Those links especially will take you to some articles you may not have found otherwise. You can obviously use the library, use their databases if you want to. If you're doing something very scientific and you want some peer-reviewed stuff, you can go out there. I'm not requiring the library, but it's certainly useful. Okay, so after you do that, a little bit of research, then you shake your hands out again and do another 5 minutes to write down kind of briefly what you learned, just because it's going to be in your head and it's kind of a jumble. And this will give you a chance to write it down and get it kind of clear, right? And after you do that, you kind of take a look at all this stuff, take a deep breath and go, now, what do I still want to know? What are some other questions that I can ask? And so you generate some more questions. And then you can do this all over again if you want, or it may direct you to some other places, all right? So once you do this, you can open up a Google Doc, you can make a Word doc, whatever you want to. You will just go back in here and right here, and just upload it in here somewhere, okay? And the way to do that is, go back. Okay. All right. Just put it in the folder. Okay. Just put the thing in the main folder. I will probably move it to one that says KWL, or if you want to create your own folder with your name on it and put your KWL activity in there, that is just fine. It's for you to use and build on and do whatever you want to with. Okay. So that's what we're doing. Right, once again, we're going to read, peruse all, and analyze those 2 articles. Then you're going to pick an article from Vox and analyze it using this criteria specifically, and upload that analysis into the folder, the Google Doc folder, Google Drive folder. Then on the Padlet, tell us what your beat is, and if you're having trouble figuring it out, here are the questions to ask yourself to find one. That's all by Sunday night. And then by Wednesday, do the KWL plus activity. Now I say this has to be on by Sunday night. Obviously there's a good bit to do in a week, so you can spread it out over the week. But by next Wednesday, you will have done all of this stuff. Okay. I think that's all there is to this week. And like I said, it's gonna look long and crazy, but I'll take you through it step by step, and we'll come up with some really good articles, and I will show you some examples next week. Okay. So until next week, if you have questions, send me a message, send me an email. And until then, I will talk at you next week.